All right, so this one we're going to talk about second gen Escort. This one happens to be an LX. It's a 93. We're going to talk about the cooling system, fans. Again, we're going to put this whole thing to bed here. I'm going to show you how the system works, where all the parts are, and what the operation strategy is here. Now, this topic comes up all the time, and then you got people trying to run wires and tap into the fan and drill holes in their dash and install switches. We're going to get to that, but I want to talk about how the system works first. Now, this vehicle has a temp sensor for the gauge, and it also has a temp sensor for the PCM. Now, both of those sensors live right here. See where this metal pipe is here? That single wire, that's for the gauge. This one down here, this 2-wire, that's for the PCM. Now, these are not interchangeable. They're not connected. They have absolutely nothing to do with each other. The gauge is a ballpark figure. It's not a scientific measurement. So when it says normal in the range, that's within the range that the manufacturer has specified. Now, whether or not that range you agree with, that's for your own topic of discussion. Now, the fan is programmed to turn on at 230 degrees, or if it's 230 degrees and the AC is on, it'll turn on the high-speed fan. So if we look at our diagram here, we have 3 relays. 1, 2, 3. Now, these 2 are paired up, and they live down in the fender, down where the air box is. This one lives in the fuse box. Now, the low speed and the fan high speed are sort of connected together, but we'll get to that here in a second. So if we come to our fuse box, this is that relay. Now, this says fan, but it's actually not for the fan. This relay's sole purpose and only reason for existing in the universe is to turn the fan off during a hot restart. That's all this does. The ignition switch interrupts this and turns the fan off. That's all it does. Another cool thing we can do here is we can actually hotwire the car and backfeed power in the ignition from here, but that's for a different topic. So this relay power just goes right through it, unless it's in cranking. That's the only time that this is actually being used at all whatsoever. So power comes from here, through this harness, down into the void. Now there's 2 relays down there. The high-speed relay takes power from the fuses through here, down through the high-speed relay, and then down into the low relay, and then into the connector down here. Now if we look at our connector, you'll see that we have 3 wires. One's high, one's low, and one's ground. So here's our fans, relays. Now if we look at this, the way that this works is when the engine is started, the PCM grounds this circuit, which will either switch it on high or low. So power comes down through this guy, through here, bypasses through the high speed, up in here into the low speed. Now the low speed only has one output, and that's for the fan. This other one here is a neutral position. So when the key is turned on, PCM energizes this, turns the relay on, bypasses the power in through here. Now on the high speed, it bypasses the low speed altogether and then just goes directly to the fan. We can see here's our 2 fan options right there. So when the vehicle gets to 230-ish degrees, now there's always manufacturing tolerances, the PCM will turn off this ground, which will turn this on, which will turn the fan on. So if we look at our diagram here, we have yellow and white, pin 35. Over here we got red and black, pin 31. So if we come down here to our PCM, you look at this, get out of my way. See that this guy right here is red and black, pin 31. And this yellow and white one is pin 35. So we know from our diagram here that if we remove this ground, it turns on this relay. So what we do is you come in here. Oh, come on, camera guy. Cut this wire, and then you can run one side to a switch and one side back into this. Instead of running a 10-gauge wire from the fan through the firewall into a switch, into a fuse, back outside, all you got to do is interrupt that ground circuit. That's all you got to do. Now, there's really no reason to run the high speed. It really doesn't make much of a difference. This fan moves more than an adequate amount of air to cool the thing down, even under a gross overheat. So that's all you got to do. You don't need to come down here and cut this. You don't need to tap into this. You don't need to do any of that. All you need to do is remove that ground from that pin on the PCM to turn on that relay into the bypass position. That's it. That's all you got to do. And, you know, it doesn't do that until 230 degrees anyway. So, You know, you can debate whether or not you think 230 degrees is hot or not, but it's really not. As long as your thermostat is good, your housing hasn't been bypassed, and your cap is good, you know, 230 degrees really isn't that big of a deal.